Bitcoin is pumping. It's surging above 95,000, racing its way towards 96, as you see here. Don't know whether to make it. Was near it here momentarily. Got up towards 95, 923, almost to 96,000. We're going to get into tonight why it's pumping so much. What is driving everything here? What speculation is pushing and making everything so bullish here? Obviously, it's been a couple weeks since the election. We've had nothing but really major upside with some turning, some trading sideways for a few days here, but mostly nothing but driving up from 70s, the lower 70s to 95, almost 96,000, as you see here on TradingView. But what's driving it? Let's get into some of the major drivers here. So MicroStrategy, which is Michael Saylor's company. Of course, he's been investing in Bitcoin since around August of 2020, buying for the company. He was the CEO of MicroStrategy. And I think Bitcoin was at the time anywhere from, I want to say 12 to 17,000, somewhere in that range when he started buying. I think it was 17,000, we'll call it. And he's continued to buy since then. And now they've purchased, what do we have? 331,200 Bitcoin. So they are now I believe, a $100 billion company. And they hold a ton of Bitcoin. They're basically a Bitcoin company. I do hold some MicroStrategy myself as well. It's something that just like, I own Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin. It's just another way to have more Bitcoin plus more tech. And the NASDAQ can be somewhat in the stock market because I had been out of the stock market for years. But besides MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, what else is pushing us? Well, we have a country, Bhutan. Their Bitcoin investment now surpasses 1.14 billion, making up 39% of its GDP. And the population, if I'm not mistaken, is around 787,000 people. So you're under a million people, and they have 1.14 billion, 39% of the GDP. You have other countries like El Salvador, which I'm going to be going to this weekend here for about a week or so, for spending 4 or 5 days in El Salvador. Going to go to Bitcoin Beach, going to get a lay of the land, take a look at some real estate, see if it's worthwhile to invest there, get a feel for the culture, and see how the country is doing since they're thriving, since they are a Bitcoin country. They were really the first country to be buying Bitcoin. And they've done extraordinarily well. They don't own as much as Bhutan has, but they still own quite a bit. And obviously you got bullishness with MicroStrategy going up tremendously. It's now going up, I believe, 500% year-to-date growth for MicroStrategy. Tremendous, 500%. So it continues to go up and up and up. And of course, here's Bhutan's Bitcoin investment. El Salvador is not invested as much, but they have, I believe it's around 184 million worth of Bitcoin, and they only owe the IMF a loan of, I want to say it was 68 million. So they have enough to more than pay the IMF off and be a flourishing country and still have money. So it's going to go from one of the poor countries, I think it's like the third or fifth, might be the fifth poorest nation in the world. It's now going to continue to grow and grow and grow, which would be great to see here. So what else is going on here? Obviously, Bitcoin, all the news is good with Bitcoin, and that's pushed Bitcoin dominance up. It's 60.3% now. You see how it's working its way back up here. And it's not great for the altcoins, but it's great for Bitcoin right now. But in large part, it's just because Bitcoin's gained so much value. That's why Bitcoin dominance is so high. The alts will start to catch it later, and they will surpass not Bitcoin's value, but they'll surpass returns on investment. But that's what we got going on there. 95,000 was a big mental milestone. The next big one is going to be 100,000, and that'll be a tougher one to break. We will see how long that takes, but I do anticipate that'll be done this year. A lot of people are speculating that could be as soon as November here, and it could. Look, we're only at the What are we at, the 19th of November here, 20th of November. So we still have 10 more days here in November. Could reasonably break it, especially the way this market is gone. But if not, it likely will sometime in December. This burst has been great, and hopefully it will continue. But at some point, it has to have a small pullback and some profit taking. But there needs to be FUD in the market, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, for those that don't know what FUD is, to make it bring it back. Another thing that, there's some news here, and again, with MicroStrategy and some of these other companies. Now, this is one thing we're going to talk about as to what could make Bitcoin continue to propel forward besides just retail investors out there buying Bitcoin up. So there are rumors that Rumble, which is a competitor to YouTube, a streaming platform, could add Bitcoin to its balance sheet. And that's something that the owner, Chris Pavlovski, the CEO, is very interested in doing. And it's not just him. And I think one of the big reasons we're getting this run up here, and I'm going to go back to TradingView as we see we get close to that 96,000 here again. One of the reasons we see this big run up is because all these companies could be investing in Bitcoin, and they could be doing it without us knowing, because that's what happened with MicroStrategy back in 2020 when they started investing before people knew. So let's look at Microsoft. They have 78 billion in cash. It's a lot of cash to dump into Bitcoin. Obviously, they wouldn't put 78 billion in, but they could put a good percentage of that because they want to hedge inflation, just backstop their balance sheet. And as Bitcoin goes up in value here to 125, 150,000, that's just going to help their balance sheet make it look even better, make their earnings look better. Everything overall would be a heck of a lot better. So not just Microsoft, but then you have Apple. There's been talks of Apple for over the past month potentially buying. That is something I can see it doing. And we'll see if Tesla starts buying again. Tesla does own Bitcoin. Elon Musk, obviously very crypto friendly. He loves Doge as well. And Doge is another one I think it's going to continue to grow. I'll do a video on a little bit more on what's going on with Doge and why I'm still really bullish on it. Why I think I'm going to continue adding more as we get to the next part of the bullish phase of the crypto market here. But let's see. Look at this. We're really close to 96,000 in Bitcoin. I mean, we're just a little bit away, $75 away, $50 away, So we're getting there. We'll see if it does happen. It's tremendous. This is one of the, it's now 10:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. and say we're close to 96,000 here. What will happen overnight? Could burst, could go up here 96 plus 97, pull back. You can see a pullback here in the lower 90s again, like it's been doing over the past few days here. But this is the first time it's really taken this bullish jump up, and it's really a shot up recently over the past hour or so when you look at it. But good. This is good for Bitcoin, good for cryptos overall. Good news continues. All the people that Trump is picking for his administration for different, whether it's chairs or government jobs, they're all extraordinarily Bitcoin friendly people who own Bitcoin and cryptos. And I think you're going to continue to see more and more of these nominees have similar backgrounds here. It's really going to push because we are heading towards blockchain technology. We'll eventually be switching to a new financial system, which will be a digital blockchain-based financial system. We'll get away from our traditional financial system that we have here, but we've got some years to do that here. 4 to 5 years before 2030 is when they're going to want to get everything rolling there. And we will see what happens there. But, market looks great, should continue. Tomorrow I'll talk about Doge and some of the bullishness there. And we had that nice little run up at Doge. It got up to 42 cents and has since pulled back into the middle to upper 30s. But it looks like the sell-off is over in Doge, and we will probably continue to see a run there. Similar to XRP, XLM has had a great run, and Cardano, of course. So we'll see if these do continue and how long they continue, and at what point we see a pullback in the market, what kind of factors could bring that pullback in the market, because at some point you will have that pullback in the market. All right, I'm going to remove this here. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit more with some other cryptos tomorrow, starting with Doge and maybe a couple of memes. And maybe we'll get into a few other cryptos that haven't moved a whole lot yet that could potentially be moving a bit more and why they might move a bit more. And I think that will wrap it up for tonight. And if you guys want any other content, if there's anything you want to see, just put it in the comments here, reach out to me, let me know, and we will talk on that topic. But for now, we're in a very Bitcoin heavy market. The altcoins have not erupted yet. Not all of them, right? Some of them have, but we're heading that way. So keep buying and be ready and keep surging. Take care.